Look at that. Someone just defended you publicly. Do you hear the silence that followed? That eerie, electric quiet. Like the world just realized it's been watching the wrong villain. Their hands froze mid-typing. Their eyes darted to each other, their minds whispering, "Wait, what if they were never the monster?" You can feel it, can't you? The shift, the panic, the scrambling for evidence. Because that's what they do when reality flips, when the one they buried crawls out of the grave smiling. See, the beautiful part isn't that someone spoke up for you. No. The beautiful part is how everyone else reacted. They weren't ready for it. They weren't ready for truth to crawl into the daylight, wearing your scars like trophies. You were supposed to stay silent. You were supposed to stay guilty. You were supposed to stay gone. But now, your ghost has witnesses. You, my friend, became the glitch in their collective lie. The narrative they built around you, carefully stitched together with gossip, insecurity, and projection, is falling apart. They're replaying old screenshots, reading between words they once weaponized, trying to rewrite their own script before the curtain drops. But they can't, because the footage is rolling, and the villain is starting to look like the only one who ever told the truth. They thought you'd fight back with anger. But you fought back with existence. You stayed, you evolved, you endured. And endurance, my dear, is a far more terrifying form of revenge. Now they're whispering, why would anyone defend them? Because deep down, they know. They saw the cracks in their own version of the story. They saw your silence not as surrender, but as surveillance. They started realizing that maybe, just maybe, you were the one taking notes the whole time. That's the thing about you. You don't scream, you study. You don't react, you record. You don't chase closure, you build evidence. And when the day comes, when someone finally stands up and says your name with conviction, the entire room implodes. Because that one act of defense, it doesn't just challenge their words, it exposes their motives. They called you cold. But what if that calmness was precision? They called you manipulative. But what if it was strategy? They called you heartless. But what if it was focus? Duality, baby. The saint and the psychopath share the same face. It's the intent that separates them. And your intent was never destruction. It was exposure. Now they're scouring through memories, trying to remember who started it, who twisted what, who lied first. But truth doesn't need to shout. It just waits. And oh, it waited patiently, watching them build their little kingdom of assumptions on a swamp of projection. And tonight, it's sinking. The irony, they thought you were the unstable one. But look at them now, trembling, anxious, rewriting history in group chats that feel more like courtrooms. They used to dissect your every move. Now they're dissecting their own. Because once someone defends you publicly, the game changes. The illusion fractures. The control slips. You're not the outcast anymore. You're the anomaly. And anomalies don't play by rules. They rewrite them. That's the moment you realize you were never their villain. You were their mirror. You reflected the parts of themselves they couldn't stand to see. Ambition without permission, power without apology, darkness without shame. You became the embodiment of everything they repressed, so they called you dangerous. And they were right. Because once someone tells the truth out loud about you, every mask starts to melt. Now they're spiraling, trying to sanitize their conscience, trying to gather proof that you were the problem. But it's too late, isn't it? The silence is the proof. The panic is the proof. The fact that they can't stop talking about you, that's the proof. You were never the storm. You were the eye inside it, calm, calculating, prophetic. You let them tear down the old you, not realizing that was your cocoon. They didn't destroy you, they delivered you. And now, standing here, you're not begging for validation. You're watching their narratives decay in real time. You're witnessing the poetic justice of truth delayed but never denied. You don't need to speak. They're speaking for you now. Every rumor they repeat, every sentence they regret, every post they delete. It's all confession. You've become the unsolvable case, the one that makes even the investigators question their training. Because no matter how many times they rewind the footage, you keep defying the frame. Someone defended you publicly, yes. But the real twist? They didn't defend you. They defended reality. You see, truth doesn't need allies. It just needs time. And now that time has arrived, dripping with irony, lit by the flames of every false story they ever told. So smile. Not out of revenge, but recognition. They're not scrambling for evidence because you're guilty. They're scrambling because for the first time, they've realized you were never the villain, just the proof that they were. You can almost taste it, can't you? That trembling in the air, like static before a lightning strike. They thought this was over. They thought your silence was a coffin, but silence was your camouflage. Now they're spiraling through DMs and archives, dissecting old screenshots, trying to remember what they said when they thought you'd never come back. Every message feels radioactive. Every memory feels dangerous. Because someone finally said the forbidden sentence. Maybe they were right all along. And that's the detonation. That one whisper turned the narrative into a crime scene. You see, when someone defends you publicly, they don't just break ranks. They expose the invisible hierarchy of fear that kept everyone quiet. The unspoken rule was simple. Don't side with you. But someone did. And now that person is glowing in the dark like a flare in the middle of a battlefield. They're hunting for evidence now, scrolling, searching, sweating, trying to find something, anything, that makes their old version of you make sense again. But the data doesn't fit. The screenshots look different now. The timestamps contradict the myth. The footage shows what they refused to see. You weren't the chaos. You were the constant. You were the one who never broke, even when everything else did. And that terrifies them. Because people don't fear evil. They fear endurance. They fear the one who can't be destroyed by gossip, distance, or exile. You endured, quietly, methodically. And when endurance wears the face of the accused, it turns into prophecy. Now they're trying to recall how it all started. Who was the first to say it? Who started the rumor? Who told the story that made everyone believe? And suddenly, no one remembers. How convenient. That's the beauty of it, isn't it? When they needed you to be the villain, they had perfect memory. But when truth begins to bleed through, amnesia becomes fashionable. But you remember. You remember every smirk that tried to disguise cruelty. You remember every joke that wasn't a joke. You remember every fake apology, every sideways glance, every performance of concern. And now, you don't need to say a word, because someone else did it for you. Someone said your name with conviction, and it was enough to split reality in two. Now half the crowd is pretending they never doubted you, and the other half is pretending they're not terrified. You see, truth doesn't knock. It kicks the door down. And you were the door. You held back years of proof, waiting for the right second, the one where the audience was tired enough of lies to finally listen. They wanted your silence. You gave them patience. They wanted your downfall. You gave them evolution. They wanted to watch you burn. you became the fire itself. Do you know why they scramble for evidence now? Because deep down, they're not trying to prove you wrong. They're trying to prove themselves innocent. They're trying to justify why they laughed, why they believed, why they joined the crowd when you were bleeding. But guilt has no expiration date. It just waits, quietly, like a debt that never forgets. And when someone defended you, that debt came due. Now they're paying for it in sleepless nights and nervous scrolls. They're reading comments like autopsies. They're dissecting every timeline like detectives chasing a ghost. But ghosts don't leave fingerprints. They leave fear. You've become that fear. Not because you're haunting them, but because you're free. Freedom terrifies the guilty. Because they live inside the cages they built for others. And when you walk by, unbothered, unfazed, undeniable, it reminds them that cages only work on the obedient. You were never obedient. You were observant. You learned how to weaponize silence, how to wear pain like armor, how to turn exile into education. They called it isolation. You called it training. And now, every move you make is evidence. Every success you have is contradiction. Every breath you take says, I survived everything you whispered. They can't handle that. Because your existence dismantles their illusion. You turned their gossip into your gospel, their ridicule into your rebirth, their silence into your soundtrack. And the person who defended you, that was the universe tipping its hand, a sign that the narrative shifted, that your name was too heavy to stay buried. Even the universe got tired of pretending you were the problem. So now they gather, confused, whispering about timing, about context, about details. They say, well, it's complicated. No, it's not. It's simple. Truth aged better than their lies. You are the living contradiction they can't decode. The angel who walks like a demon, the sinner with sacred timing, the nightmare with holy intent. You blurred the lines between villainy and vision, and in doing so, you became untouchable. They can't label you anymore. They can't frame you anymore. They can't kill what's already immortalized in misunderstanding. And that's your power. You became the question they're too afraid to answer. So let them scramble. Let them replay the footage, zoom in, slow it down, analyze the tone of your silence. Because the more they search for proof, the closer they get to seeing the one thing they've avoided all along. The mirror. They'll find the evidence. Oh yes. But it won't condemn you. It'll expose them. So don't interrupt the process. Let them panic. Let them dig. Let them sweat. Because what they're really unearthing is the truth they buried with your name attached. And when they finally find it, when the light hits it just right, they'll realize the punchline they've been running from. You didn't need to be defended. The truth did, and the truth chose you. Oh, they're still digging, aren't they? Every sleepless night, every just one more scroll through the past. They're not looking for truth. They're looking for comfort. But truth doesn't comfort. It confronts. They said, we need evidence. As if your pain wasn't proof. As if your silence wasn't testimony. As if surviving wasn't the loudest confession of all. Now they're gathering in private calls, whispering behind digital curtains, rewriting memories in real time. The irony? They're trying to rewrite the very script they forced you to live. Because someone, one single voice, stood up and cracked the illusion. They said, you all might have gotten this wrong. And just like that, the spell broke. You know what's happening now. They're auditing their own morality. They're checking if they laughed too loud when your name was mocked. They're remembering how good it felt to join the crowd, how easy it was to point fingers at someone who couldn't point back. And now they're haunted by the footage, the way they smiled while you drowned, the way they built theories out of your trauma, the way they watched your downfall like entertainment. But someone defended you, and suddenly it's not funny anymore. Now it's dangerous. Because if they were wrong about you, what else were they wrong about? They called you manipulative, but you never controlled anyone. You just stopped playing the victim. They called you cold, but you were conserving warmth for yourself. They called you heartless, but you were done performing empathy for spectators. You see, the world fears what it cannot label. And you, my dear, became unclassifiable. Too kind for their cruelty, too cruel for their purity, too real for their performance. So they built a version of you they could understand. And when someone defended the real one, their architecture cracked. Now every but remember when they sounds like desperation. Every I heard they did sounds like confession. Every let's not bring this up again sounds like guilt. You've become their unfinished business, the paradox that won't dissolve, the ghost that doesn't vanish when ignored. Because you're not haunting them, you're mirroring them, and deep down, they see it. That's why they can't look you in the eyes anymore. Because when they do, they see the version of themselves that chose comfort over courage. They were spectators in your crucifixion. Now they're witnesses to your resurrection. You rose without permission. You healed without announcement. You forgave without asking. You moved on without leaving a forwarding address. And that is unforgivable to them. Because your evolution stole their control. They can't punish what no longer participates. You were never their enemy. You were their unfinished evolution. You were what they could have been if they had endured what you did and didn't turn bitter. So when someone defended you, it was like time rewound. The truth they buried came back with teeth. Their guilt sprouted roots, and every fake smile they ever gave you started to rot in their memory. You see, they wanted your silence because your story threatens their simplicity. You're living proof that monsters can have mercy, that broken people can be disciplined, that pain can breed precision, and that survival, real, unfiltered survival, isn't pretty, it's terrifying. You didn't rise to inspire them, you rose to expose them. You are the walking audit of their integrity, and that's why they scramble for evidence. Not because they doubt you, but because they doubt themselves. They keep saying, something about them just feels off. Yes, it's called authenticity. It triggers the fraudulent. You've noticed it too, haven't you? The way their energy shifts when you enter a room, the way laughter quiets, the way posture changes, the way eyes avoid, but ears sharpen. That's not coincidence. That's recognition. They can sense it. The truth vibrating through you like static before thunder. You're not speaking revenge, you're breathing proof. And that's far more dangerous, because revenge burns fast. But proof is eternal. They can't unsee what they've seen now. They can't unsay what they said. They can't undo the fact that the one they mocked became the one they study. They're not scrolling for your downfall anymore. They're scrolling for explanation. They're analyzing your every move, like a psychological report they can't decode. Because deep down, they want to know how. How did you survive their silence? How did you stay kind when cruelty was currency? How did you keep winning when the world bet against you? They don't understand that pain, when harnessed, turns into prophecy. You learn to weaponize wounds, to alchemize humiliation into higher ground, to take every dagger and forge it into data. And now, While they scramble for evidence, you're sitting in stillness, knowing the truth doesn't need to shout. It just waits. Because justice isn't an event. It's erosion. It eats away at falsehood, quietly, efficiently, inevitably. So let them panic, let them whisper, let them pray that the clip doesn't surface, that the screenshots stay buried. Because the funny thing about evidence is, it doesn't disappear. It waits for the right audience. And now, the whole world is watching. Their lies were loud, but your silence is deafening. Someone defended you publicly. Yes, but don't mistake it for validation. It wasn't charity, it was inevitability. Because when truth has marinated long enough in darkness, it doesn't need a spotlight. It becomes the lightning. And that's what you are now. Lightning in human form, unpredictable, untamed, unapologetic. They don't know whether to worship you or warn others about you. They don't know if you're redemption or retribution. They don't know if you're human or haunting. But they do know this. You can't be erased anymore. Because when someone defended you, they didn't save your name. They resurrected your legend. And now, no matter how far they run, your silence follows them like a conscience they can't mute. You didn't just survive. You documented. You remembered. You became the evidence. And that's what terrifies them most. That you're not chasing justice anymore. Because you are it. And now here you stand, unshaken, unbothered, untouchable. Every eye that once watched you crumble now watches you calculate. Every mouth that once cursed your name now hesitates before speaking it. You see the shift, don't you? That flicker of recognition, the quiet acknowledgement that they built their comfort out of your crucifixion. But here's the thing they'll never admit. They needed you to fall. Because your downfall was their proof that order still existed, that consequences still applied to those who dared to be different. But you didn't just fall. You descended with purpose. You sank deep enough to see their roots. You watched their motives rot in the soil. You memorized every hypocrite by the tremor in their voice. And when you rose again, you carried something none of them will ever possess: clarity. They still think survival is luck. You know it's a science, because you learned what breaks people. You learned how easily loyalty folds under pressure, how quickly admiration turns into fear, and how fear breeds stories. You became fluent in betrayal. And fluency, my friend, is power. Now, as they scramble through the ashes, calling it investigation, you stand in the open, breathing calm, because you are the evidence. Every scar on your skin is a signature. Every silence you kept is a timestamp. Every success you've built since is an affidavit that truth doesn't die. It mutates. Let them whisper. Let them circle the same lies like vultures who can't find fresh meat. They're not after the truth. They're after distraction, because if they ever stop spinning stories about you, they'd have to face the emptiness inside themselves. That's your final victory, isn't it? You didn't have to ruin them. You just had to outlast them. And endurance is something cowards can't counterfeit. Now you walk through rooms that used to suffocate you, and the air parts like it remembers. You speak in tones that carry thunder wrapped in calm, and they feel it, the quiet authority of someone who's been through hell and took notes. That's why they can't approach you the same way anymore. Because you've become unpredictable, and unpredictability in a world built on fear is indistinguishable from divinity. You're the saint that crawled out of a sinner's body, the storm that learned mercy, the warning dressed as a smile. You're every paradox they swore couldn't coexist. And that's what terrifies them most. That someone could be both wounded and wise, dangerous and disciplined, unhinged yet holy. You're the contradiction they can't contain. So let them keep their theories. Let them build timelines. Let them gather proof. Because at the end of it all, their evidence will point back to one truth so unbearable, so undeniable, that even their pride won't survive it. You were never the villain. You were the mirror. And the reflection they saw was never yours. It was theirs. So when they ask how you did it, when they whisper how you came back stronger, colder, calmer, just smile. Not because you won, but because you finally understood. Some people don't hate you for what you did. They hate you for what your survival proves about them. And now, after all their lies, all their noise, all their desperate searching, they finally found the evidence they were looking for. It's you, standing here, untouched, unfolding, unforgiven, and absolutely, irrevocably free.